Okay, so if you forget everything on this video, remember this, that you want to start with the problem. Typically, people do it the other way around. And so the fundamental thing here is that the problem well stated is a problem half solved, okay? Don't do this, because this ends up, you have a solution and you're looking for a problem that your solution fixes, okay? And typically when people do this, they haven't talked to users, they haven't talked to an audience, and so that ends up creating a new set of problems for you, okay? Especially when things go haywire, when things are not going well. You really want to have a good problem that is well articulated, that gives you a good foundation. Okay, again, problem well stated is a problem half solved. Remember this, it keeps coming up because it's super important, okay? Another way to think of this, and this is, I think, what I wanted to share with you on this video, because it's different for compared to other cohorts, is, what job is your target audience hiring your initiative or program to do? It's a different way to think about things. Okay, so this is the work by Clayton Christensen. He's a professor at Harvard Business School, the late professor at Harvard Business School. And in this book, he really went into this theory about the theory of jobs to be done, that we all have jobs to be done. So this QR code here, if you scan this with your phone, you can get the article, the short version. If you don't want to read the book, just read that debrief on what this thing is, right? The theory of jobs to be done. So that, again, the question, what job is your target audience hiring your initiative or program to do? It's really weird to think of it this way, but just bear with me. So here's a way that Clayton Christensen thought about it. So this is quote again: when we buy a product, we essentially hire something to get a job done. If it does the job well, when we're confronted with the same job, we hire that same product again. And if the product does a crummy job, we fire it on the spot and look around for something else we might hire to solve the problem. Okay, and then you can go through a myriad of examples here. You're at home in the evening, you want to order some food. There's a specific job that you want done, okay? You want to eat, you want to nourish your body. That's a job right there. You also want to get good food that is reasonably priced, that gets delivered on time in a reasonable amount of time, okay? A bunch of jobs I just spelled out right there, right? So you can think about Uber asking this question when they were doing their talking with customers and so forth, right? What problem are they trying to address for their customers? And for your case, you got to think about this as well. What job or what task are you trying to tackle for your audience? So it requires that you know your audience really, really well. And this, at times, we fail to do, especially at the beginning. And this is the time you want to do this, okay? As part of your post-task assignments is to talk to some potential users of your initiative, program, tool, whatever have you. You got to talk to them, okay? But let's change this up a little bit, right? Now let's superimpose this, your ideas. So when we buy, use, engage a specific initiative, program, or product, we're essentially hiring it to get a specific task done. If it does that task well, when we're confronted with the same task in the future, we hire that same initiative, program, product again, okay? And if the initiative, program, product does a crummy job, we fire it and look around for something else we might hire to solve the problem. So think of this, right? When you look at all the public engagement initiatives out there, science communication, what have you, informal science learning, they're all addressing very specific jobs, right, that their specific audiences want to do. So if you think, for example, a science museum, there is a set of jobs that they're doing, right? And for different people, right? For the kids, they're designing an educational exposure to help them learn, right? So there's a job there, right? To help them have fun, another job, right? Task, if you will. But don't forget, there's another audience member right there coming along with the kids. Their parents. You always tend to forget the parents. The parents have a very different job in their mind when they're potentially bringing their kids here. Yes, they may be interested as well to learn, but they're looking for something for their kid to do, right? Saturday, and they are looking for a initiative program product that they can hire, right? So museums here, they can charge a small fee to the parents so that their kids can come along and have fun and learn something useful, right? So you see here, in fact, at the bottom here, I should have drawn this. You can draw a line where there's usually a set of jobs that one can break down, right? Tasks, if you will. So sometimes we tend to think about the big problem, but typically a big problem is made up of a bunch of little problems in there, right? And rarely are you addressing the big problem, you're addressing some very small component of that big problem. And our argument here is that you want to focus on those little problems. Like you want to know what those little problems are and figure out what exactly are you tackling in this big sea of problems. So does your solution fit the problem? Okay. Fundamental question. People tend to be in a solution space all the time. That's where they live. They just have solutions in mind. And when you ask them what their thing does, they run to the solution space. You want to be able to articulate also what the problem is. So you want to live in the problem space. And in fact, you want to then combine them and think about what is that problem solution space. And at the core of this is really talking to your users and audience, right? Learning more about what jobs they need to do and what your initiative can tackle, right? So you want to spend time exploring both problem solution spaces, in the solution space, thinking about existing solution, thinking about prototyping new ideas. So this existing solution part is really understanding who else is doing or tackling the problem a similar way that you are. You want to understand what's going to make you different, okay? What's unique about your approach? And in the problem space is really understanding the finer contour, the whole contours where your problem, like your solution may live, right? The scope, the impact of the problem, the framing of the problem, really, really important. So the secret to finding the problem solution fit is your target audience. They're right there. And we fail to talk to them. I don't know why. Something maybe we're scared they'll tell us something that derails our whole idea. Yes, better that they do that now, okay, while you're setting things up. You have to talk to them. You got to talk to them now and a lot, okay? Now, if you watch the video pre-session work, you may have seen this case study, and I won't go in greater detail here, but the fundamental point here is that problem framing is really important, right? So to my earlier slides there about the problem space and solution space, you can superimpose that on top of this. So think of yourself, you are an owner of a big building, the elevator, and tenants are complaining the elevator is too slow, right? That's one way to frame the problem. And of course, when you do that, some people will say, oh, make the elevator faster. Let's bring in a new elevator. Let's upgrade the motor. Let's improve the algorithm and so forth, right? But how about if you reframe the problem, right? Just reframe the problem and say the weight. Is it the weight that's the problem? The weight is annoying, let's say, for example. Then that presents a whole suite of other solutions that can potentially address the issue. Put up mirrors. Apparently that does magic. Play music, right? And each of these, think about it, you can build a company around it, right? The company that provides mirrors for elevators, company that, is all about entertainment and audio in elevators, installing hand sanitizer, anything else, right? You've seen those videos in some of the elevators. They have videos and they have news on them when you're going up to some, umpteenth floor. You see how you are still addressing the problem in an innovative way, right? And this is what Clayton Christensen was really known for, this disruptor, right? Innovation disruptor, who would ask these questions in a different way, right? Again, asking what job, again, you can reframe this and say, what job does that person in that elevator want done, right? Is it they want to get there quickly, right? Or is it something else? So you really want to ask those fundamental questions. You're going to talk to those users and learn more about what actually is the issue that they're having, okay? And then as an example here, this is a project at SAI, the first one that came out that we started in my lab here at SAI. And the fundamental issue, and I think at the beginning, we struggled really to understand, our audience, because our audience is so broad that this thing could really cater to a bunch of people. And so, and the issue there that we were tackling, and still is today, is the difficulty of the general public to find, store, and analyze diverse stories in science from around the world. This was the fundamental issue, that functionality aspect was the problem, right? And it took us a while to realize that's what our value was there, that we had built this easy to use searchable database, right, comprised of these diverse stories, but we've made them easily accessible, easily searchable, sortable, the whole suite. And it took us a while to realize that, and that's what we've built here. So check it out, our website, storiesinScience.org. But it's very focused, right? We're addressing this issue about functionality, and everything on top, I think, is a bonus, that the journal is being used by schools, by other bigger engines that are going through our data and including it in theirs. That's a win for us more broadly. So key question to think about: had we had this session live, we would have discussed this, thinking about what problem will your initiative program tool attempt to solve for your target audience, right? What job, right? If you rephrase, what job are they hiring your initiative to do? Really think about that. What job are they hiring you to do? And so with that, the logic model, there's a link in the curriculum to review the logic model in greater detail that I go over. But in a snapshot, the logic model is inside the project charter that you all are filling out. And essentially, it just forces you to think through all the connections, right? The problem solution that we've been talking about, the activities that are going to be doing, right? So you're going to have some big goal, right? Some big outcome that you want. So you can sort of look at it this way, right? So the outcome, what the goals are, and then the specific objectives, right? What exactly are you going to do to achieve those outcomes? And then we push you again further in the various tables to think through those activities. What are they? What metrics are you going to be tracking? So AKA your outputs, for example. There's measurable things that you're going to be doing. So the project charter really forces you to put these things down on paper and discuss them and change them. Remember, the project charter is not for us. We want, of course, you need to hand it in. So don't just fill it out, quickly and say, I'm done. It's really designed for you to think connections, because they make a difference. You do it now, it makes a huge difference later on. Okay. And that's it. And we'll talk about this later, but the project charter, again, will also help you in your pitch deck. And so do keep this in mind as well. We will be dropping this occasionally for you to be thinking about getting some slides going along the way. Okay, that's it. And again, drop questions in the Slack, but hopefully this review was useful.